大家带上我。
What you're seeing right now are the actual footage shot from the new FEIYU SCORP 2. This is unedited, no post-production. The only thing I've done is convert the colors to the Rec 709. This is another first access review of the new FEIYU SCORP 2. Now, by the way, if you want to see more first access reviews of tech products, feel free to subscribe. And if you have any questions, reach out to me on Instagram. Today, we're going to go through the deep dive of this gimbal, its functionalities, its features, things I like and I don't like, as well as, of course, outside real life tests of stability. I'm not sponsored, so I'm going to give you my honest opinion. Now let's talk about the AI first. Now by that I mean it's able to track your subject through AI. And how does it work? Well, let me show you something first. This is the FEIYU SCORP Mini. By the way, I haven't done a review on this channel for this. If you want to see something like this, let me know and I can give you a comparison. And as you can see at the very front, there is a little attachment. Now, unfortunately, it is a little cumbersome and sometimes it does fall off because it is magnetic. So what they've done this time is incorporated that system right here in that little red dot. Can you see that? Now with a simple hand gesture, it's able to track me just like that. And I'm able to take videos and photos just by doing this. There you go. Now, to stop the tracking, all you have to do is give that hand signal. Now you need to be in range for this to work, so you cannot just give a hand signal, expect that to track your face. So I need to be in frame, press OK, and there you go. It's really snappy, really sensitive, and it works really well. The range for this is around 3 to 5 meters. Anything longer than that, you are going to lose tracking. Now, even with subjects kind of get in the way, it does kind of think a little bit, but overall it's able to track your face again. And one of the cool features is that it's built into the gimbal itself. So there's no wiring, there's no cords, and it works with anything on your gimbal. So it doesn't matter if your camera lens, your phone, or your action cam is compatible with this, everything is gonna follow you just like that. Now, one other cool feature is that you do have quick access to both landscape and portrait shooting. Just by changing the quick plate, mounting it to the side, and you've got portrait shooting. But of course, if you're in a pinch and you're shooting horizontal and suddenly you want a portrait shot, there is the shotgun mode or the torchlight mode where you can just hold it top down, press a button, and it becomes a portrait shooting mode. Another cool little design feature that I really like is these little markers. Now these little markers are really intuitive designs that really helps you balance your camera for that first time. And just leave it and forget it. Next time when you bring the same setup back into your camera, you can just follow the markers and adjust your gimbal slider accordingly without balancing your camera all again. I wish I had that on all the gimbals. They've also incorporated Bluetooth as well, which is available on a lot of the gimbals these days. It just makes life so much easier. As you can see, I have no cords attached to my gimbal, right? And with the press of a button, I'm able to record and stop just like that. It works on most cameras and you only have to pair it once and it automatically pairs every single time. So it's really fast, it's really intuitive, saves a lot of time. Now you might be wondering, why do they call this SCORP or Scorpio? Well, these are where these legs come in, see? This is on the previous version as well. Now if I just take off the tripod legs, you can see that I'm able to put this on the table like a scorpion tail. That's what the name comes from. Now this is really stable, so it makes it really easy for changing lenses, and especially when you're shooting in tight areas, you don't want to have that extra extension of the tripod legs. You just have it like this and you can shoot and you can just put it down. Easy as that. Now in terms of design and ergonomics, you can see it's not much bigger than the Mini itself. Sure, they've made the arms longer, the grip's a little bit thicker. The gimbal itself is a little bit bigger. It gives that extra clearance, which is great, which I'll go through a little bit later on. But in terms of design, overall functionality, if you're familiar with the FEIYU ecosystem and the manual setup, it's pretty much exactly the same. We have the knob at the front to adjust, you can see the tilt. Now with the press of a button, we can now go from pan And then if you want, press it again. We're doing rolls. If you also purchase the follow focus motor, you can use that to adjust your lens focus. That's an extra purchase, by the way. The knob itself, you can adjust not only the deadband, but the resistance, so the way this feels, as well as the sensitivity. So it makes the whole process a lot more smoother. We also have FPV mode, and I just pretty much use this all the time, more than I use lock mode and pan follow. It's more smoother and it allows more freedom of natural movements. Now on the back we have F1 and F2 buttons on each side, but by default F1 does nothing, but F2 locks the screen so you don't accidentally touch any of the settings. Now speaking of the screen, this is once again a touch screen, similar to the previous version, so not much of a change there, but the menu system is very intuitive and easy to use. 4 main settings on the top, the gimbal settings, the mode settings, the shooting settings, so you can do time-lapse, hyperlapse, selfie mode, and then you've also got the follow focus settings, which I use all the time. So if you're using slow, medium, or fast follow focus, depending on your shot. Now we also have the joystick at the front to adjust the gimbal, as well as a mode switch button and the auto record. On this side we had the power switch, the lock, as well as AB. Now these are customizable buttons, so depending on your lens or your camera setup, you can use it for focus and other settings. So right now it's on nothing. Now we also have the trigger at the front, so double tap centers your camera, triple tap goes to selfie mode, triple tap again, comes back. And by the way, if you hold on to this, you go straight into lock mode, which is perfect because while you're shooting FPV, you want to hold this, you go to lock mode, and then once you want to start moving again, let go, and we're back to FPV. Okay, so with the tripod, it's very low, very sturdy, but there's one test we must do. Yep, passed the test. Now they've also upgraded the gimbal, so officially it is 2.5 kilos it's able to support. What I've got here is the Sony S3 with the 24-70 GM master lens, as well as the cage. It's around 1.8 kilos, so it's well below the standard. Right now you can see it is not very well balanced, right? And for this test, I just want to show you the gimbal itself. Turn it on. Pretty good. Gimbals these days mostly is able to support the camera, and the algorithm does it pretty well, but I still suggest have it properly balanced before you go out. In terms of clearance, let's have a look. Clears the lens, not a problem. If we go back, does it hit my EVF? Nope. Perfect. So some gimbals you have to take off the EVF because there is lack of clearance, but this is pretty good. Okay, now let's go left and right, and let's go left. Okay, round about here, and that's the maximum range. That's about it, okay? It is a little bit less in terms of left and right range. To be honest, I don't think you do these kind of movements a lot. Okay, what about back and forth? Let's have a look. So, not a problem. And like I said, you know, it's gonna be fine. I think I'm zoomed out a little bit, so if I go back, you can put your, okay, you can clear the lens. Now let's do the 360 rotation that we always do. Let's have a look. Okay, this is the FPV mode. No shakiness. Pretty stable. Just go a little bit faster, see if it works. Yep. Okay, left and right. Pretty good. Very stable. What happens when, on extreme cases, your gimbal kind of collapses? Well, let's try that. Still kind of working. This is not good for the gimbal, by the way, so don't try this at home, kids. Okay, after 3 beeps, it goes into overload protection mode, and you can see the gimbal kind of just dies. But you don't have to reset your gimbal itself. So all you have to do is press a button. It's in sleep mode right now, and it'll revert back to normal. So you don't have to turn it off and turn it back on. Let's go outside and do the test. And like on my test, we're gonna use this setup, 24 and 70. I wanna use walking and running, and with the IBIS, so in-body stabilization turned on and off, just to show you any vibrations. And then I'm gonna use the 70 zoom lens just to really emphasize any vibrations, okay? Let's go. Again guys, well, like I said, this is able to shoot in both landscape and portrait mode. So how does it perform in portrait? Here's a shot taken straight from the camera, no editing. This is handheld in top-down portrait mode, and I'm using the FPV mode. It's very smooth, there's no jitters at all, and I really like this shot. If you put it in lock mode, here's a couple of shots as well, and it turned out not too bad either. In fact, all of these following shots that I've taken are done using this same setup. Mostly a shot in FPV mode. I like it because it's a lot more smoother, I feel. There is a little bit of jitteriness if you just lock one of the axes, so I think in FPV mode, the algorithm does a really good job. And here are a couple more shots that I've taken just on a night out. You can see here following my subject moving around in different angles. This is shot mostly in FPV mode with no post stabilization. So overall, I think it's pretty good. But now there are a couple of things that I don't like about this gimbal. Yes, it doesn't have the bells and whistles like we see in the other gimbals that we see, like DJI with the one-click unlock and lock feature. That's really cool and really time saver. This, unfortunately, does not have. Ergonomic-wise, because my hand, I like to hold it very close to the bar as a support, does hit the plastic top a little bit, so it does get red over a long period of use, unfortunately. So I wish there has some kind of rubber support underneath just to make it a little bit more comfortable. I wish they also had a trigger button down here, so when I'm doing top-down shots like this, you can just use one hand and instead of pressing the trigger at the front, right? And finally, I wish the battery was a little bit longer. Now, because the form factor, it only holds roughly 250 milliamps. So on paper, it's around 13 hours of continued use, but from my testing, heavy use is around 7 to 8 hours. Luckily, it does have fast charge at 16 watts, but you know, I wish it lasts longer, that I can use it all the time, because the algorithm is really good and it's really smooth. And given the price range here is only 1800 RMB, I think this is probably one of the bang buck if you purchase it brand new. If you want to see a cross comparison between this gimbal, the During Weeble, the DJI RS3, let me know and I can probably prepare something for you as well. I'm George, thank you for staying to the end. If you want to see more first access reviews of gimbals and tech, feel free to subscribe.